Tell me whether or not Liz Truss should resign.
No, I'm not coming on the radio to discuss that, Matt. I'm coming on the radio to talk about what the government needs to do and what the underlying problems facing the government are and what I think the real challenges facing our country are. Whoever the Prime Minister is secondary to the fundamental challenges that we face.
Well, the Tory MPs just keep on coming. We can now speak to the Conservative MP, Danny Kruger. Hello, Danny.
Good morning, Matt.
It's a pretty straightforward question. Should Liz Truss resign?
I'm not going to answer that, I'm afraid. I'm going to keep those sort of discussions, I think, in the parliamentary party.
Danny, in the nicest possible way, if you're going to come on the radio, the Prime Minister is in as much trouble as I've ever seen in my lifetime. Tell me whether or not Liz Truss should resign.
No, I'm not coming on the radio to discuss that, Matt. I'm coming on the radio to talk about what the government needs to do and what the underlying problems facing the government are and what I think the real challenges facing our country are. Whoever the Prime Minister is secondary to the fundamental challenges that we face.
No, it isn't, Danny. It isn't. It isn't. We've got more than a dozen Tory MPs on the record calling for her to go. There was a fiasco last night.
If you're just trying to keep your little list, Matt, then you can, find somebody else to talk to. I'm sorry, I'm not going to play that game.
Well, tell me what you think Liz Truss remaining as Prime Minister can achieve.
Well, if she grasped the nettle of reforms that are fundamentally necessary, which she began with, her underlying analysis, which is that we have an economic model that isn't working, and that's a 30-year problem under successive governments that has concentrated wealth and growth in the southeast of England, hasn't spread opportunity properly. That analysis was correct. My problem with her, and why I think we've been making mistakes, is having a purely sort of tax-cutting agenda rather than thinking about the social foundations of growth and what the real underlying foundations of prosperity are, where we need to focus our work. So I need a social narrative as well as this economic one. I think she could do it. I think any Conservative could do it because fundamentally we do have a philosophy that would address this problem. We have a major political crisis at the moment. I'm sorry I'm not going to indulge in speculation about individuals. What I want to see is us through this crisis and whatever comes out of it, whoever's in charge, grasping the nettle of the fundamental changes that are needed.
Isn't the problem that Liz Truss tried to grasp that nettle and she crashed the economy and put up people's mortgages?
Well, I think she pushed the economy over the precipice that it was hanging on, and for that she must take responsibility because fundamentally it was a misjudged mini budget. But actually, it wasn't that profound the changes that she was pushing through. They had a major immediate consequence in the markets, but the weaknesses that our economy was suffering that caused that turmoil predated her, and in fact she correctly analysed the underlying problem. So while, yes, she needs to take responsibility, as she has, and apologise for those mistakes, and the Chancellor Kwasi had to go, the problems are much deeper than the announcements that were made a couple of weeks ago. She did recognise that. I'm not sure she had the whole prescription, the whole solution. As I say, I think there's a wider analysis and a wider set of measures that are needed. But that analysis was correct. We have a fundamental problem with productivity and the social order that we've created over the last generation or two, and I think she could, with other colleagues, put that right. If we can get through this immediate political crisis, which is obviously extremely damaging to us, and is reflected in the market turmoil.
You say that Kwasi Kwarteng had to go. Why does the logic not follow that Liz Truss has to go, given that she was responsible for everything that Kwasi Kwarteng did, and then since then has made matters worse? Well, that might well be the conclusion that colleagues come to. I think simply saying that somebody is responsible for a problem doesn't automatically follow that they should resign over it. You've got to think about the consequences of resignation. If she were to go, how would she be replaced? Would that be through a lengthy process involving members? Would it be through a stitch-up among MPs? Neither is that attractive as an option. So, as I say, for me, the question is, can we as a party come together to decide on a policy approach, which rebuilds that 2019 coalition? I mean, that's the great tragedy, of course, of where we're at with these terrible polls. A couple of years ago, we united the country. We had a genuine national party that brought together the shires, the cities, north and south, around a commitment to a fairer, better, more prosperous UK, based on correcting the economic model, putting things right. And that's the coalition we need to bring together again. And that, sadly, this battle that we're now indulging ourselves in over personalities and which wing of the party is going to dominate. We need them all. We need the one nationers who've got a very good sense of the importance of good government and the importance of public services and of localism. We need the social justice caucus who think about family, community stability. We need the ERG, the Brexiteer wing, who know about the importance of getting Brexit done and having national independence. We need the common sense gang who understand about the importance of culture. So all of these wings need to be part of the coalition in Parliament that takes us forward, because that's the coalition that won our majority in the country.
Danny, just going through that list of the various caucuses you're talking about, I'm pretty sure that people from every one of those groups have called for Liz Truss to go. That there is no way that that any of them are going to unite behind her.
Well, will they unite behind a successor? Matt, you're probably right. On the face of it, that looks how things are going. But we might well pull back from that particular brink and conclude that we can move forward with our current leadership. As I say, for me, that is really secondary to what is the agenda that we are going to unite around. Who's going to lead it? That follows. That's not the first question, I'm afraid, at the moment. Well, it's your first question today, but fundamentally, it's not the thing that matters the most.
But what is it that you've seen of the way that Liz Truss has behaved as Prime Minister that makes you think that she has some, until now, hidden talent that means she can turn this around, unite the party, and get the economy back on its feet again?
Well, she seems pretty resilient to me. And she won in the country. She won with the membership because she gave a clear sense of direction and a determination to pursue it.
Yeah, and she's abandoned all of that. She's had to abandon all of it. She crashed the pound. People's mortgages have gone up as a direct result. Right now,
indeed.
People, inflation is up. The promises that she made after becoming Prime Minister on energy bills being frozen for 2 years, she's had to break those. She hasn't got any mandate and she hasn't got any support. I don't understand why you can't just say that she should go.
Because I'm not engaging in that conversation, I'm afraid, Matt, about who should come and go. I'm sorry to do that, but I'm not going to. I appreciate that's your mission. If that's your opinion, then fine.
But it's not my opinion. It's the opinion of your colleagues, Dan. And people are texting in saying, why are you indulging this nonsense with Danny Kruger? You're an intelligent guy, Danny, and we've spoken before about interesting policy things and so on. Right now, the chairman of the 1922 committee is in Downing Street speaking to the Prime Minister about the total collapse of her authority. Why can you not say whether or not she should remain as Prime Minister?
Because that's not my role right now. And I'm sorry that I'm not playing that game with you, Matt. I'm here to grab the opportunity to try and set out what I think the direction of the party should be. I apologise if you simply want to talk about whether she should come or go, but that's what I'm here to talk about. I'm not getting into the question of who should be PM.
Well, we do appreciate you coming on, Danny. We do genuinely appreciate you coming on and laying out those economic challenges, which you're completely right, are going to fall to whoever it is who's in number 10 today, tomorrow, next week. Danny Kruger, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.